Welcome to another edition of the Nightly Nuge. Ted, thanks for being patient with me yesterday. I was actually traveling, coming back from a 9/11 celebration down there with some of the Benghazi heroes, our good friend Mark Geist. How are you doing today?
Well, if I'm anything, I have the patience of Job. So, Keith, greetings and welcome to the positive spirit of the Nightly Nuge. Thank you and Tim and everybody involved with the Nightly Nuge, especially everybody out there across the hinterland and quite honestly around the world that is looking desperately, searching for truth, logic, common sense, freedom, justice, life, liberty, and the pursuit of individual independent happiness, because it's becoming harder and harder to find. So thank you, Keith. And yes, I am patient. I'm patient with the onslaught of evil around us, and I'm fighting harder than ever.
You know what, Ted? I saw yesterday and then woke up this morning to all this news about the subpoenas that have been served on a number of people from the Department of Justice. And this really hit hard and close to home for me because a good friend of mine who I've dealt with a lot, Mike Roman, was served one of those subpoenas, and I saw his name in the print. I haven't talked to Mike, so I don't know a firsthand account at this moment. But I saw he was subpoenaed. And the subpoena is very broad. It basically says, we want everything that has to do with you challenging the 2020 election. Ted, I thought that was something that would be protected by the First Amendment, not today, not yesterday, but every day. And it just seems like a few 5-6 years ago, 2016, every Democrat, including Kamala Harris, challenged the 2016 election. What's going on with the Department of Justice, Ted? And is any of us safe if they can do this, just run willy-nilly and try to steamroll political opponents?
Well, once again, Keith, I'm a pretty cocky guy. In fact, I've got it down to an art form, but I'm not cocky enough to believe that my opinions or my hunches or my presumptions or assumptions outweigh the evidence that brings me to conclusions. And the conclusion is, to everybody with a sense of decency, honesty, work ethic, the people we hang out with, our hunting buddies, especially here in September of 2022, it's the hunting season. I've got my friends and family all around the country hunting and fishing and trapping, and I hear from these good American families every day. So when Ted Nugent speaks, I am not speaking for my own isolated ideas. I'm representing a pulse and a voice of the best families in America. And we are shattered. Keith, if the Department of Justice can violate the Constitution and just randomly issue subpoenas and indictments and search warrants that are so broad that defies the constitutionality and the rule of law of search warrants, the search warrant has to have specific time, location, address, individuals, and the items they are searching for. I'm just a guitar player, but I know this much. And these indictments, these search warrants, I'm telling you, Keith, are there any FBI agents, are there any members of the Department of Justice out there who still follow a true north compass setting? Who do we call, Keith, when the FBI comes to a lady's house in New Jersey because an anonymous claim, an anonymous false allegation that she was at the Capitol on January 6th, which, by the way, we have a right to be at the Capitol on January 6th. We have the right, the First Amendment, to protest our government peacefully, and the vast majority were peaceful. And they come to a lady's house in New Jersey to ask her to see her calendar and her electronic devices to confirm where she was on January 6th. Are you kidding me? Achtung! This is absolutely Nazi, jackboot, communist Chinese methodology that we the people, I hope everybody out there, I hope you're calling your senators and your congressmen and your governor and you're letting your elected employees know that the U.S. government is out of control. There is a chance where we show up on November 8th in such numbers demanding conservative values from those we choose to represent us. My friends, please join Keith and I and families across this country at hunternation.org. We're not going to tell you what candidates to vote for. But we believe the heart and soul of American families will always turn to those representing honestly God, family, country, law and order, and the Constitution. HunterNation.org, now more than ever, Keith.
You know what, Ted? You said something about being present at the Capitol on J6. I want to reference, and I'm going to call out Politico right now. They did an article on July 15th of 2022 regarding Mike Roman. And again, when the folks at home are listening, Ted, you know, they watch these news stories and their names they don't know. But please, everyone, realize these are living, breathing human beings. These are your friends. These are your hunting buddies. These are the people you bowl with, go to church with. You just don't happen to know this We the People. But these are We the People, the ones that Ted references all the time that are up in the gulag since the J6. Those are moms, dads, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles. They are We the People. You might not know them, but they are We the People. And so this article from Politico, Ted, July 15, 2022, said that Mike Roman was in the Capitol building on that day handing out slates of electors. This, I can tell you, personally, is 100% not true. I spoke with Mike Roman on January 6th of this year. Mike was in the state of Georgia diligently working on the senatorial runoff election down there. He wasn't in the Capitol. I would ask you, Ted, to call out Politico right now and say, whoever wrote this article, come on this show and back up your facts and evidence. Otherwise, retract it, because I know firsthand they're lying about Mike Roman being on the Capitol floor on January 6th. Call them out.
I've been on the receiving end of that propaganda ministry for the last 50 years, where they lie and create hate against me because I stand up for God, family, country, First Amendment, Second Amendment, freedom, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. How dare I, those radical ideas. This is a runaway propaganda ministry that are virtually untrustworthy. So I join you to the media in general. Why don't you come on the Nightly Nuge? I'm just a guitar player. I'm a silly old guitar player from Detroit. I wrote songs like Wango Tango. Certainly you educated guys can debate me. You can put me in my place. They tried it with Piers Morgan. They've tried it on all different kinds of media, and I eat them alive because I have truth, logic, common sense, and unlimited evidence to support everything I stand for. They got nothing but lies and propaganda and hearsay and anonymous accusations. It's out of control, Keith. So I'm glad there's a Nightly Nuge, because there's no fake news here. We are truth, logic, and common sense commandos, and we're demanding that from the rest of our citizens of this country.
Well, you know what, Ted, tomorrow night, what I want to visit about is why? Why are they doing this? I can't figure it out. I'm hoping that you can shed some light to our fellow listeners. Why? Come back again tomorrow night. We'll have some more of the Nightly Nuge right here.